From Cali to Tally, it's time to wake up. WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source, and this is Wake Up War Chant. Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hudjavandi and Corey Clark.
Wake up! Welcome into the show. It's Wake Up War Chant, part of the WarChant.com family. Use the promo code WarChant30 for 30 free days of access to the ultimate Seminole sports source. While you're doing that, if you're already a member, how about you go ahead and subscribe to this here podcast. Rate it, review it. We'll read the latest review on the 5th of May when we do our show. Hopefully it'll be a 5-star. That's why we do it on the 5th of the month, so you guys give us 5 stars.
I feel like we won't read it unless it's a 5-star. That gives people a reason to leave a 5-star review.
All right, that too. Now I'll read if someone's like 2 stars.
No. We don't need that because we're enabling them. The only way you're going to get read on this show to the millions of listeners that we have per year, probably, I would say, maybe, if you added it all up, is if you leave a 5-star review.
Okay. He makes the rules sometimes. That's Corey Clark. I'm Aslan. Thanks for being here, everybody. Can you believe it's May? It's May. We're going to mess around, wake up, and have to go to Charlotte for ACC kickoff in a few days, it feels like.
It's crazy, right? The Amelia Island stuff is like, a couple weeks.
I've been cruising around the state, doing the spring tour. We'll actually have a special interview in the middle of this. We'll use that probably as a buffer between Renegade Express and Thrones'in and Out there.
Okay.
Just a quick 5-minute interview with Jeff Sims. He is the presumptive future of Florida State football, at least on offense, the quarterback.
Right.
He will be the first prep quarterback that Willie Taggart will have signed once we get to December. So look for a full feature, I think, dropping either today or maybe on Friday. I should actually probably text Ira and see when he plans on dropping that. But it's done. It's just hanging out, waiting to be watched by all y'all. But a nice little feature that Michael Langston and I worked on with him and some of his teammates at Sandalwood. And then I think I'm actually getting back on the road next week, and we're going somewhere. I don't know, man. Langston wants to do everything. It's like, what's it like? The water covers 70% of the earth. Michael Langston covers the other, 30% with his recruiting prowess.
Is it 70% now?
I don't know.
I always was told 75% growing up, but that could be just, a misnomer.
Evaporation, things like that.
That's true, yeah.
Factoring in.
We're losing all our water, right?
Yeah. How you been, man?
Good, buddy. Hadn't been back in the Midtown studios for a while.
We're here. Yeah, it feels it's a little bit. I got to do some spring cleaning in here, but you're by yourself today. Usually you have an entourage with you when you come to the Midtown offices.
Yeah, Stephanie, who might actually be listening to this, excuse me, as she's driving back from Jacksonville, went to a Dave Matthews concert with our friend Tim Linnefeld.
Oh,
just the two of them.
Yeah.
Went to the Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville. That's probably the 40th time she's seen Dave Matthews.
Oh, okay.
I went with her last year. Did the boyfriend duty last year. Wasn't a huge fan of just any of it really. Like I like Dave Matthews.
You're
fine.
a man of the '90s. I
like it. I like some of his songs. Now he didn't play my two favorite of his songs. But he'll play some rare B-side for 36 minutes, just jam and do his little chicken dance, and it just got a little monotonous. I'm like, no, I did that one. It's like Painting with a Twist. Okay. I did Painting with a Twist with her once, and we walked by it the other night at dinner, and she's like, are we going to do that again? I feel like we knocked that out. I did it. Like I knocked it out. Yeah. That's off the bucket list. You can't expect Corey Clark to go to Painting with a Twist twice in his life.
Yeah, come on, chill out there, Stephanie.
Yeah,
what did you guys paint? Like a whale or a sunrise?
I painted it was a moon. It was like a weird, scary tree with the moon behind it in the moonlight, and you could paint bats and anything else. So it's hers is hanging up in her house.
Yeah,
mine's probably in the back of my car somewhere.
Makes me think about the jack-o'-lantern I carved for the X last Halloween.
Oh, sorry.
It's horrible.
Didn't mean to bring up bad memories, man.
All right, man. Let's do Renegade Express. I mean, is there anything really to talk about? Jayon McCluster, nephew of
right?
Dexter McCluster, big-time linebacker, I think top 10 inside linebacker in the nation, committed to Florida State from Largo High School, represent 727 Pinellas County.
Florida State's now ranked, 8th or 9th or 7th in the recruiting rankings?
Watch out. Just give him some time. Give Taggart some time, man. Let him work his things.
It is April, or May now.
Yeah.
So we'll see what it's like in December when it matters.
Yeah. So he might be part of the spring tour as well. man, this happened last week, and I forgot to talk about it because, just all the anxiety surrounding me having to, hunker down for the Battle of Winterfell that came on Sunday.
Right.
So Dabo got $93 million?
Yeah.
So what happened? Where do we go from here? Where do we go now?
Well, I don't know. We can't. I mean, again, the money's done. You can't go any. What can you do? You can't go any higher than that. That's preposterous. But he's earned it. He's earned it to be the second highest paid coach in the country.
Well, so if we keep Willie after 4 more years, I mean, right now he's at what, $5 million annually? He's got Sexton.
And what was Dabo's for? It wasn't. Was it 10 years? 93? What was the years on it? What's he getting per year?
I'll look it up. Sounds about right though.
It's perverted.
It's
absurd.
Yeah, 10-year, $93 million extension.
I mean, that's crazy. It's just crazy.
So what do you do?
It's perverse.
What do we? I mean, could we
chase it? Chase it then.
If
I don't
Jimbo
know what
had
to do.
won like a national title in 14 and made it to the playoff in 15, and then still was crashing into the side of a mountain in 17. Would they have matched A&M? Like if he had won 2 titles and been in the playoff and had a good, strong 16, but then 17 kind of took a big dip?
No, because I think the reasons that it wasn't going to work would have still been there. He was obviously very hard to get along with, and it just seemed like the relationship had been fractured. And I don't know that them beating Oregon would have changed that, you know what I mean? Even if in 15, if they made the playoff, well, they almost did. I mean, they were like 1 game away, or if they don't lose to Georgia Tech.
Well, if Dalvin gets a first down on 4th and 1 in Clemson territory in the fourth quarter, they win that game. They
were close to making the playoff, even with the. Was that the Louisville game, or was that 16?
No, that was 16. But that was Smag and Everett Golson.
Yeah. And it wasn't a very good team, but they still almost got there. And no, man, I think the reasoning for him leaving would have still been the same.
So then what do we, like, if Willie wins a national title in 2022, so would that be, or 2021, would that be his 4th year? Because 18, 19, 20, 21, yeah. So if he wins it in 2021 going into his lame duck season, and golly, inflation.
But I don't think I don't think he'd have a lame duck season. I don't think he would go into a season with only 1 year left on his contract.
So that's the thing. Then he'd have all sorts of leverage.
He will have had to have done something in 2020 to get a
2021 would be the lame duck. 2022 would be his last season.
No, I'm saying, but he wouldn't go into 2021 even with 1 season left as a lame duck coach. I think they would with 2 seasons left.
Okay,
is what I'm saying. I think he would have to do something in 2020 to get an extension. I don't think he would just have 1 or 2 years left on his contract. I don't think that's how this landscape works anymore. But I don't know anymore, man.
What's stupid? And he's probably
$93 million for a college football coach.
Here's the thing. They all have bonuses in their contract for when they win the national title. So what's the point of the bonus when you get these new contracts?
Well, maybe they got rid of the bonuses now, but it's again, perverse is the word that just keeps coming to mind. You have to cap it. I'm sorry. I guess that's not American to say, but it's a capitalist society. If they're willing to pay it, it's a supply and demand economy. But they have a cap for NBA players. You can only make so much. They have a cap for NFL players. I mean, they have a salary cap for the team.
But players in the NBA actually have max contracts. So they actually have a maximum amount of money.
They can make. I mean, James Harden might be worth $80 million, and they pay him $48. Why in the world can we not get together? I don't care if it's collusion. The university presidents all get together and say, you know what? This is insanity. We are stopping at $7 million. We are not paying more. We can't be paying. Nick Saban could ask for $20 million. He could hold out tomorrow and get $20 million if he wanted. I mean, there's no way they wouldn't pay it. They would pay him whatever he asked for. And that's crazy. It's just crazy to me. Only because, again, the guys that are doing the playing, now we know they're getting some stuff.
They're getting compensated.
They're getting compensated in a variety of ways, including handshakes with bills in them. I mean, we're seeing that with the college basketball trial. It's
10 G's a month of DeAndre Ayton, I think they said yesterday.
Come on, DeAndre, you got to have more. Number 1 pick in the draft.
You're only going to be there for 5 months.
You should be getting. I mean, that's crazy.
That must be. Hopefully, it's like supplemental. Hopefully, that buttresses your big signing bonus.
I mean, that's crazy. The $10,000 a month is nuts. But what I think is funny about that, too, that whole conversation, is everybody that's giving Sean Miller grief, and rightfully so, he's breaking the rules, quote-unquote. they're also all the same national media outlets that say, we got to pay these kids. Right. This is ridiculous that these kids are working for free. Zion's not getting paid a cent. Meanwhile, Krzyzewski's making $9 million a year. Then when it turns out, hey, maybe Zion got $250,000 to go to dinner. Oh, my, the outrage. I can't believe it. Yeah. What about the sanctimony of you're the one that wants them to get paid. So they're getting paid. Let's just almost all I have to imagine almost all of the lottery picks for the last, what would you say, 20 years, 30 years, have been compensated in some form or fashion financially during their college careers.
Did you watch the Felipe Lopez 30 for 30?
By the way, what's that about?
Man, that was like a 2-hour long epic saga.
Did you ever even heard of him?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and I heard of, but too, I wouldn't think most people had though. He was a big time deal when he came out of high school, but he never did much at St. John's, right?
He didn't. It's just sad. I don't know why, for a guy who never was even close to living out that dream of being a phenomenal athlete, I feel such sorrow and empathy when I see that story. I see the story about or Marcus Dupree, the one that had the best that ever was, the running back from Mississippi who ended up getting sort of, taken advantage of by handlers and got injured, never got money. And I don't know why, but when I see those people that had everything, and it's like, and the crazy thing about the Felipe Lopez story, and maybe not crazy, but the thing that always interests me is I want to get down to like, why did it go wrong? And with him, it was just kind of like, it just turns out he played in the Big East when Allen Iverson and Ray Allen were in there, so he was kind of like his star didn't shine that bright.
Right.
Well, then, I don't know. Nobody else knew that Allen Iverson was really good. Like, no one knew Ray Allen was really good because, Felipe Lopez was the Gatorade High School Player of the Year, like in the country.
Yeah, he was national
player
on the cover of Sports Illustrated, wasn't he?
Before he went to, but so I was just thinking about five, because the story was up on War Chant, and I didn't read it because it's anti-Jimbo stuff. Stop it, Ira. About the 5 stars. I think about a guy like Ermon Lane. Like, think about Ermon Lane, 18 years old.
That thing wasn't anti-Jimbo.
Oh, come on.
It wasn't. It said that it was Florida State's middle of the road as far as 5 stars.
I just saw
Alabama is
5 star.
Alabama's hit rate on 5 stars is insanity. It's like 70% of their 5 stars over the last 8 years, 6, 7 years have been drafted. Not only drafted, but drafted in the first 2 rounds. Yeah. Like, their hit rate on 5 stars is incredible. Everybody else is about 50% or worse.
If Willie wins the ACC in 2020 and loses in the semifinal by like a 1 possession, how much would you feel comfortable if Florida State was going to renew him and give him 8.2 a year? Too much?
Sure. No, I don't. I know I just had that rant. I'm done caring about college's finances. They're doing it to themselves. Okay. Pay them $20 million. I don't care. Okay. If Clemson there is nothing around Clemson, South Carolina. For the listeners that haven't been there, it's right by a lake. It's in the middle of these hills. You get off 85 and you go about 10 miles west by a bunch of cows. I think one of the directions on my Google Maps said there's going to be a brown cow on the right. Turn left in 0.2 miles. There is nothing out there. Nothing. Just like Auburn. There is nothing out there. And yet they have the resources to pay their coaching staff $20 million a year? Yeah. Probably 15, I guess. I was just thinking about all the equipment, man. Everybody that has to pay. Right. So $15 million a year for their coaching staff. I'm tired of them. I'm done with it. Do it to yourselves, universities. Run yourselves out of business.
There was actually a 5-page thread on War Chant on the Tribal Council. Fear the Spear, I think, is his name. He's actually in South Carolina, so he is just deranged with the Clemson hatred syndrome. But it laid out this whole thing about how Clemson gets away with it. Apparently, there's a relationship with a church. The church cleans money for them like it's Ozark.
Oh, cool, man! They clean up the money. They launder it.
It's a beautiful thing. And then the thing is, there's other respected people on the boards that are like, yep, that's what they do. They have that relationship. It's like, oh man. So anywho. All right, let's without any further ado.
By the way, let me amend something. I don't think college football is going to go out of business anytime soon, especially if they don't start paying really paying the players. Yeah. They got to do something with the money. Yeah. Clemson's already built them a $200 million whatever that mansion is, and now they're paying their head coach $93 million. It's just it makes money hand over fist, so they got to do something with it.
This is going to be the problem.
You could pave some roads in South Carolina. How about that?
Yeah.
Is there any chance that could ever happen in South Carolina? Every time I drive up to North Carolina, it's ba-bump, ba-bump, ba-bump. Oh, cool, but Dabo's got the gold car, right? Or he just hovers around. He's got a hoverboard. He's got a hover car. He doesn't have to
public
hear these.
funds. It's private funds.
I don't care.
Used.
Dabo, donate 1 year's salary to fix the highways in South Carolina. You're already the worst Carolina. Everybody knows North is the better of the two Carolinas, right?
Right.
So do something to try to make the state better.
That'll one up Willie. Oh, you're going to give $1 million to an indoor practice facility? I'm going to give $3 million to give our citizens better roads to drive.
Yeah,
on.
I'm going to stop so they can stop popping their tires.
I think I saw something, and last thing I'll mention before we get to the Renegade Express. I haven't even read the questions. Hopefully there's not a lot of recruiting questions, or hopefully there's none, actually. The problem with this is Florida State, I think, going into the season, into the 2019 campaign, they're a 100-1 odds
I saw that.
to win a national title.
I could put $20 on that.
Yeah, why not? It just goes to further amplify just the huge chasm, canyon, schism,
canyon
between Bama, Clemson, I guess Ohio State's 10-1, even though they lost everybody, and then everybody else. And then at what point?
I think you have Georgia in there a little bit now, but they still haven't won one yet.
Right.
But they're
they're part
when
of it.
When you're looking at it, man,
discussion.
it's really it's a big one. It's Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, sorta is in there, I guess, and everybody else.
I guess
there are only a few, right? That you think if it's the right person. There are what, probably 12 or 15 schools that with the right person can get back to that echelon, right? Wouldn't you say? Florida State's one of them.
Correct.
It's one of them.
Yeah. I guess maybe the thing is I loved as a kid. I had no problem with the Bowl Coalition. I had no problem with the BCS. I don't like the playoff really. I don't want to see it expanded, but I think that's probably the only way that you'll bring some sort of sense of parity once this thing goes off the end of the cliff with coaches. Like, there's only 5 destination jobs that are going to pay you $10 million a year. Where you're going to get 8 figures, and then no one else is going to want to go to the other schools. And that was the best part of growing up watching college football. You never knew. I mean, all sorts of crazy upsets would happen. And I don't know, maybe if they do open up to 16, maybe that's the way that like Alabama and Clemson eventually lose their stronghold. They do maybe get upset. All you got to do is just scheme up and coach up one good game and get some more opportunities for teams to knock them off. But interesting, strange times we live in, Corey.
Yeah, man. I hope we all hope it turns around. We're all hoping that.
And how crazy is that? We talk about Clemson almost as if like they're Alabama.
They are,
like
man.
They're Southern Cal. Like, they've been here forever.
No,
this is
they're
in their
not.
DNA.
No.
Like they're not going away ever.
Dude,
like
they disappeared. They fell off a cliff
Yeah.
into the ocean when Florida State rolled in '92. Like Florida State just kicked them out of the neighborhood. Just really, they were not relevant.
Get out of there
for 18 years. Really, and then really 20
I'll
years.
give respect to Woody Dantzler, Charlie Whitehurst.
And C.J. Spiller. They had a couple bright spots in there, but by and large, weren't any good at all.
All right, time to get on the pony. The question that I posed to the folks was, what left you more mentally taxed, the final drive versus Auburn in Pasadena or the Battle of Winterfell?
Oh, another Game of Thrones heavy.
Well,
Renegade Express.
Is Jon Snow a 5-star bust? Are you beginning to warm up to the bat and ball season? And your thoughts on the NFL draft. So those are questions I pose to the people. Maybe some will answer them, some won't. Let's begin. Captain D_63. Wake up! What's up, Aslan and Corey? I really enjoy your takes and insights into FSU sports. It helps get my day started. Being up here in North Carolina.
The best Carolina.
The best Carolina.
Hey, until you fix your roads, South Carolina, I'm going to keep talking about you.
I have to get my fix through Wake Up War Chant and warchant.com. Thanks for all you do. The final drive of FSU and Auburn championship game was glorious. Since my dad has passed, it's something I can relive often. Remember the joyfulness we had watching FSU crush Auburn's hopes. Can't wait till the first game of the new era of FSU football. In your opinion, what will be the first play FSU runs in the game versus Boise? He's got a couple questions. That's the first one. RPO? Let's say RPO?
Yeah.
RPO.
I'm seeing you're taking a shot with 15. Right out of the gate. This is how this season's going to be. We're throwing it deep. Boise ain't got nobody that can cover him. Yeah. First play.
I haven't scouted out Boise to see what we're up against, but I'm just going to say RPO.
Okay, that's fair.
Secondly, in your opinion, what would be the best defensive formation FSU should be in throughout the season with the athletes we have on the defensive side of the ball?
I mean, I guess I don't mind having more linebackers than defensive ends. Is that, you know what I mean? Like, I think a 3-4 would be okay because I don't think you're going to get a pass rush otherwise.
Right.
Unless you have two kind of – like Amari Gaynor coming around the bend it might be a little tougher for an offense to handle maybe than Janarius.
What about like a 3-3-5?
You could do like a
Little
West Virginia
stack.
old school.
Yeah,
Yeah, something like that,
3-3-5,
man. You know what? I just want them to get their best athletes on the field. That's what I'm all about.
Okay, so who are like the 11 best players on defense?
Okay, you got Marvin.
Marvin 1. I mean, this is not by order, but he is number 1, obviously.
Yeah.
Him, Levante 2, I would say probably. Asante 3.
Stanford
4.
But that's 3 DBs already.
That's why I'm saying 3-3-5.
Yeah.
Dontavius Jackson. That's like 5 players. There's somebody else I thought that's on the defense. I mean, we're going to say Janarius? By the way, it's Janaris.
Janaris?
It's Janaris.
Oh, all right.
It's Janaris.
I mean, there's an I in there, though. But
Yeah.
all right. I didn't know that. Well, we all call him J-Rob anyway.
Right.
So we don't have to get into the
So Hamza 6.
Yeah, Hampson's there for sure. That other linebacker spot you don't know. The other defensive lineman you really don't know. Kando?
Yeah. 7.
Cooper?
Warner 8. Cooper 9.
But you can't have 4D. You can't have them. And then Dent, I think, is going to play a lot.
Oh, shoot, man. That's crazy.
I think Litton's going to play a lot.
Oh.
I think Kyle Myers is going to play a lot.
Yeah, man. Kyle, come on. Yeah. Let's go out with a bang, big guy.
There's a lot of it's going to be interesting what they do with the secondary. But, again, my thought process always, and I've told you this from day one, I want my best players on the field.
Right.
I want my best athletes on the field.
How are they going to work a 3-4, though, with Marvin and Cooper? Because I thought Cooper was like prototypical, quintessential, like.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely he could be the nose guard. He could just be in the middle.
And then
Marvin could be on the outside,
Like a Mario Edwards almost?
Well, yeah, he takes up 2 blockers while Gaynor comes around
Holds
him.
the edge, sets the edge.
Sets the edge out there. Yeah, they'll have a hard time pushing him around outside. He takes up 2 blockers, and then Gaynor shoots up the gap. He's going to lead the nation in sacks. Woodby, by the way. Lars Woodby, too.
Yeah, there's right. That's
man,
there's
there's
our
a lot
11. There
yeah.
we go. That's 11. We just figured it out. Great show as always. Have a great day if you want to. Go Knowles. P.S. I believe that Willie Taggart will turn things around. I believe he has most of the pieces in place. Just looking for a great defensive back coach to come on board next season to complete the system.
T-Buck.
Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. _2000. Note to Aslan, if you feel the need to read this in a Game of Thronesy dialect, go for it, bro. Okay. Morning, my lords. I originate from the House Hollister in the lands up north, specifically South Bend, Indiana, known to many as the realm of suck. Many a gloomy day, snow, and absolute nothing interesting at all makes Winterfell seem like a paradise in comparison. If anyone attempts to tell you any positive words about South Bend, immediately dismiss them as liars. Upon my graduation many years ago, I trekked south to earn a degree from the prestigious educational institution in Tallahassee, Florida Agriculture and Mechanical, where I experienced and reveled in many grand victories and a championship during the reign of Sir Warwick and Sir Winky. Okay. I now reside in the land of Bradenton, we also call that Bradentucky, and have planted my banner firmly in the southern soil. Okay, I'm now 3 seasons into Game of Thrones. I'm hooked and binging like it's my job. Thank you, guys.
Oh, well, then you're going to have to tune out later on because we're going to spoil the whole show.
Man, yeah, Season 3, though, things start,
Like, how could you be on Twitter, right? If you're on, maybe he's not, but.
Well, I was on Twitter forever, and I never saw Game of Thrones until 2 months ago.
But I'm saying, like, how that last episode ended, and you could not get away from it.
Right.
So right, even though he's only in Season 3, he knows, whatever it is, 31 shows from now, how that scene is going to end, how that episode is going to end.
That's true.
Especially because he's binging it. He'll be there in a week.
Quick question. Should be interesting.
That was well written, by the way.
Yeah. I wish I could have read it better, but Corey laughed at me.
I felt like you had a
good,
nice little accent going. You gave up on
it.
I
still got to get my drawer, though. Khaleesi.
Well, you still,
That's the I can't do it. All right, quick question, as this should be interesting. If the Knowles were to go 9-3 this season, your initial reaction is?
I mean, very positive. No matter who the wins and losses are against. 9-3 is really good.
In November, my reaction is, who are the? I mean, if you lose to Florida and you lose to Miami,
it's all right, buddy. And you lose to Clemson.
Yeah,
but you win the other 9.
Right.
You're taking.
It is.
It's obviously.
You've just doubled your win total practically.
Beggars can't be choosers, and Florida State is begging for W's right now.
Now, if I were to follow up with those 3 losses being Miami, Florida, and Clemson, how does it affect your reaction to the first question? Obviously, we
just had the conversation. I'm all for it.
I think the fan base, myself included, would be thrilled with a 9-3 season, but have to admit it would be somewhat dampened if we whiff on all 3 main rivals 2 years in a row.
There is a caveat too. If you go up and get housed, if you get housed by Florida and Clemson again, like just where you doesn't even look like you belong on the field, that's an issue still. Now, nothing's going to happen to Willie Taggart if he goes 9-3,
right.
But that's going to leave, again, even for a very good season, that would leave, or a good season, that would leave a sour taste in everyone's mouth if they see you go down to Gainesville and lose by 30 points again.
Almost becomes like 2015, because 2015 was the schedule was kind of weak, and they really weren't they weren't that good of a team. But then, as we said, they were literally a player or two away from playing in the playoff in 2015 with either Everett Golson or Sean McGuire as their quarterback.
Yeah, and they really weren't that good.
Yeah. Well, the schedule wasn't really that good.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't tough, was it?
So
they lost to Georgia Tech on that crazy play.
Yeah, and then they lost to Clemson, then they lost to Houston in the bowl.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, they were a decent team.
Thanks, JJ Cosentino.
They had Jalen and Dalvin and Derwin, right?
And DeMarcus Walker.
So they had Derwin. Yeah,
Derwin, Jalen.
Dalvin and they had some star power there that those guys seem to be.
Bobo and Kermit still out wide.
Throw it up, go get it.
Yeah, he'll sleep better at night, but then probably when he goes on those booster tours, he's going to get a lot more questions about, well, when are you going to beat Florida? But I'm sure he won't care about that if he's got 9 wins on.
Oh, he'll definitely care, but yes, it's much better to be 9-3 having to answer those questions than 6-6.
Tommy Hawk Chop, wake up! Member since 2002.
All right.
It is true. I can see that. March 29th. Since the NFL is the gauge we have to measure talent, do you think it's talent that FSU is lacking or player development?
Yeah, that's kind of the question, right? I don't know, man. I
would say probably talent, because even these guys, like Rick Leonard got drafted, but he bounced around and didn't do anything. Josh Sweat, did he even play last year for the Eagles?
No.
4th-round pick.
It wasn't high-level NFL talent. Yeah. I do think
Noddy actually did all right, though.
No, Noddy was a starter for them. He's a good player for them. But by and large, especially on offense, there just was not NFL talent anywhere. Who's been their best offensive player other than Dalvin of the last 4 years?
Imagine you talked about Alabama, their hit rate. Just the amount of love that and just adoration people have for Dalvin Cook. I think so. And listen,
and it's even
not like Cam
amplified in hindsight, right? Because of what's happened since he left.
Yeah, and not that Cam has been chopped liver. Cam did really good as a freshman. Broke Dalvin's record. Although Dalvin wasn't a starter as many games as Cam was, but that's neither here nor there. Like Alabama's like, all right, we got Mark Ingram. All right, you're gone. All right, we're bringing T.J. Yeldon. All right, you're gone. We'll have Derrick Henry. Okay, you're gone. Just like one after another of just absolute just wrecking balls. And it's like we had Dalvin. It's like, yeah, all right, Cam's all right. And then but the running game couldn't get going. And then what happens if he leaves and if Kalen leaves and then if Anthony Grant. You'd like cross your fingers everything would work out. And you just think about Alabama just constantly. It's like, oh, we lost Julio. What are we going to do? And it's like, oh, Amari Cooper. Oh, we lost him. What are we going to do? We'll get Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, no, they just keep feeding themselves, feasting on the rest of the country. But yeah, I would say, but obviously they weren't developed either. But I don't know that. I think more than anything, it was you would go back to evaluation. Like some of those guys just shouldn't have been at Florida State. Especially, Florida State in 2014 or 15, you would say they were the second best program in the country. Yeah. They should have been getting better players. I don't care what the star ranking said. Jimbo was always the guy that didn't matter. You know what I mean? Devontae has 0 stars. I don't care. I like the way he offered him for one practice when he had never started a game in high school going into his senior year. He had the ability to see things, seemingly. And then whatever happened, the evaluation or the recruiting process of who we should take and who we shouldn't, I blame that even more than the development.
I do, yeah. I think it's talent, and I think it obviously starts with evaluation. I don't really know how much, did they really mold Devontae into being what he was? Like, was Devontae really just some nothing 3-star, and it's like Jay Graham just coached his freaking
he
socks
wasn't.
off.
Especially running backs. I don't know how much you're developing running backs. I think you can develop receivers a little bit more than running backs, but running backs is almost all God-given. But with Devontae, it was more about, literally nobody had offered him. Like, not even like just anybody. Youngstown State.
He's
nobody
at the Cabin before Cabin Gilly.
Even Binghamton. Binghamton wasn't even offering Devontae. And Eddie Grant and Jimbo Fisher offered him in the summer before his senior year, before he had started a game. And then he runs 3,000 yards and lead them to their first ever state championship. And he becomes a 4-star recruit and then an NFL draft pick and a really good one. That's where Jimbo gets his credit, or Xavier Rhodes with the turning him. I mean, that was his strength, man.
Yeah, man, it was amazing.
You know, he would tell us stories about guys that had come when he got here, and it was off the record, so I'm not going to say the person he was talking about. But there was a kid on campus when he got here to run the offense that had been a 5-star recruit that he had recruited. He had gone to see at LSU. And said he watched him for 15 minutes. Is like, yeah, man, this kid can't play for us. I don't care what he's ranked. Yeah. And he was a 5-star recruit.
What was his name?
Yeah. So he would, and he was right in the sense that that guy couldn't have played at LSU, and so he had that ability, and I'm sure he still has it. But for whatever reason, it just for a 2 or 3 year stretch, he just missed a lot. And the quarterback recruiting really killed him.
Yeah. Also, Coach Taggart, Tommy Hawk Chop continues, is big on changing the culture and busy recruiting guys that he believes will bring a passion for FSU football. And now the athletic director is trying to bring passion to odd-year football seasons. What's the next big change? Bringing back old uniforms, all-day tailgating, stadium seating reduction, garnet turf. I want the scoop. I don't know what the next big change at Florida State is. I don't know. I don't foresee any big radical change. Man, garnet turf would be something else, though. Look up Eastern Washington. They call it the Inferno.
Oh, I've seen it. It's hard to watch. It's hard to look at.
Horrible.
It's just blood red.
Yeah.
It looks like the start of like Hunger Games. Just blood-soaked field. It is insanity. But it's good. I mean, you should do that at a place like Eastern Washington, right? At least we know about Eastern Washington just because of that field. Yeah. So that's smart. I don't know what the next big bring the spear back, the big spear in the.
We're getting rid of the backpack. I think sounds like
that's probably
it's a good first step.
I feel like that's a great first step, and in fact, I think they should have a public sacrifice of the backpack before. That's what he should stab in the middle of the field in Jacksonville when he rides out there on Renegade.
Or it
could be on fire on the top of the spear.
On the unconquered statue, like when they light the unconquered statue.
No, I'm talking about when as he runs out on the field, the backpack is on fire on the spear.
I think the unconquered statue, when they light it at dusk on Friday before a home game, there should be like the ceremonial hurling of it, like trying
like the Olympics, lighting the torch,
like the loop, like a horseshoe, like you want to get to land on the thing and goes
that
up.
Was really out of all the bad things that happened in 2018. I feel like that might have actually been the worst.
It was
who
ordered it?
Poorly thought out.
Who ordered it? Who in that office got the email that was told, hey, man, go on ebags.com and order this bag?
We need a JanSport, and we need it quick.
All right, Bimini Bound. What left you more mentally taxed, I asked him. Final drive in Pasadena against Auburn or the Battle of Winterfell? Final drive versus Auburn was far more intense than the Battle of Winterfell, or at Winterfell, rather. However, the final drive was only, 1 or 2 minutes? Although not quite as intense, the Battle of Winterfell lasted over an hour, so I say push. Although my wife was crying only during one of those.
Yeah, I think I wasn't with Shanna. She was there, but obviously I was in the press box. But I'm pretty sure she shed some tears when they won. Yeah, man, that was a really neat moment. It was a really neat moment to be out there.
I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. I was such a wreck. Because the game was always in the balance. And then even the way Auburn was that year when they had the miracle on the plains against Georgia,
they were going to return the kick for a touchdown.
Yeah. It was just like, man, you don't know when it's going to be over. And once it finally was, it was just like, oh my gosh.
I wrote about that, by the way. My man Charles Kelly, who got a lot of grief, rightfully so, when he took over the defensive coordinator position. But he was the special teams coordinator that year, and I actually did a story on him right after the game. Because
did he have a trank gun and shoot or did he put something in the water? The player on Auburn that went out the cramps. Did he dehydrate
Oh no, not that. It was more about what I asked him about. What I was kind of surprised by was after the touchdown to take the lead with 11 seconds left, and they kicked it deep.
Right.
to I don't know who it was. The guy. I think it was Chris Davis, right?
No.
But Aguayo's kick was. If you go back and watch that game or the clips on YouTube, is incredible. It's about 3 yards deep, right in the right corner. Like, it is a perfect kick. So that's why they only get out to like the 12 or whatever they do. But I thought that just encapsulated how unbelievable their special teams were all season long. In that moment with that kicker, he put it exactly where he was supposed to, and they were down there and they tackled that dude. It ran time off the clock, number one, and it backed them up to the 12-yard line. Because I think you would think, man, kick this thing through the end zone.
Oh yeah,
but they didn't do that.
No.
They put it 2 yards deep, right in the right side.
You anti-Jimbo folks, there was a thread making fun of him when LSU's AD obviously left to go to, or A&M's AD left to go to LSU, and people were talking about Jimbo and how overrated he was, and talking about he should have lost the national title game because he was so stupid he didn't change his signals until it was almost too late. But
Kelvin told him.
Yeah, but we'll let it slide. How about you guys? You should probably perpetuate more the myth of him being stupid about the fact that the only reason he won a national title is because Auburn didn't know how to cover a kickoff. Guy hurt his hamstring. Like if that guy drank enough water the night before, he doesn't get a bad hamstring.
I wonder about that guy.
He tackles Kerman, and then who knows? Florida State probably never wins a national title, and Jimbo's just shown.
Very good
he's
point.
exposed as the bum that he is.
Now, I will say this. Jimbo did not have a great history of bowl games. His teams did not typically perform all that well in bowl games. But
ask Northern Illinois about that, buddy.
Well, even that one.
They
were up by 3 in the fourth quarter. They were going up and down the field and couldn't score. It was just,
they did good against South Carolina, but yeah, otherwise the Wisconsin games are always a little bit.
Well, he wasn't there for that. The Notre Dame game, they were down 14-3 at halftime, or 14-0 at halftime. The Northern Illinois game was gross. The Auburn game, they came out and were really flat. Obviously, the Oregon game.
Well, actually came out all right. They scored on their first drive.
No, but then they're down 21 points, and they would have been down 28 if he didn't overthrow the guy wide open in the middle of the field.
There was a bunch of those.
Yeah, so he didn't do great with 3 or 4 weeks. But I think, especially during that run, and I'm not even talking about the 12 season 2, the 15 season 2, he had a run, man, where if week by week, they were really darn good. They went it was ridiculous. I think it was 47-3 over a 50-game stretch. But again, also that 14 season was. But hey, I will say this: when you talk about anti-Jimbo and pro-Jimbo, you have to remember you're dealing with a fan base where their head coach left for Texas A&M, so you can understand. I don't understand why you're not more miffed at him. You can still say, people keep ripping Jimbo for not being a good coach. That's ridiculous. That's fine, because that is ridiculous. He was a very good coach, and he did great things at this university. He still left for A&M after 2 years of almost leaving for LSU. That, as a Florida State fan, should irk you.
Sympathize isn't the right word, and this isn't bragging. This is me talking about my own deficiencies as a man. I can just empathize with probably what he was just piecing together, all the Chronicle stuff that you guys have put together. Like he thought he was probably it was a legend in his own mind, and he wanted to hear yes to everything he wanted. He thought that he brought this place back from the dead and deserved to get everything he wanted. And I just think if I took over the old Scout.com Florida website and then made it better than War Chant, and then I don't know. Somebody came to buy it from me and gave me a fraction of what war. I'd be like, screw you people. I'm out of here. I'm going to burn this place down.
Yeah, but he did get pretty much everything he wanted. And I still don't know, even if he had gotten everything he'd ever asked for right away.
Right. Would he been
was he still going to say no to Texas A&M?
Right.
His end game seems like it's always been to beat LSU. He's never been a Florida State guy. Right. He did great by this university. This university did very well by him for a long time. But there's still hard feelings there from fans that felt, they felt like they made them feel less than, like you're not as good as the SEC West. I want to go out there. And
I didn't take it that way. I guess I can see how people might feel that, but
but that's how it works, man. And then his last year he was 3-6. So
he keeps saying it was 5-6, man.
I mean, he was 4-6, and then they had to reschedule a Louisiana Monroe game. Still, he left at 5-6.
Yeah, 5-6.
3 years after having being on top of the world. It's crazy how quickly it cratered. So their people have their feathers are ruffled because of how he left and what he left. After it looked like it was going to be, man, you were around. You were on War Chant in 2013 and 2014. He was beloved.
Yeah.
Rightfully
and Jimbo
so.
I trust. And Jimbo
all
we
of that,
trust.
man. People love Jimbo, but they didn't just turn on him because he left. They turned on him because it was kind of cratering, and then how he left. There you go, folks. I did that for you.
Georgia Knowles 86. Wake up, fellas. It's in all caps. Why do you think they moved Odell Hagen's territory of recruiting in Polk County? He is a legend in Polk County. Will this have any impact on us recruiting kids out of Polk County? Georgia Knowles, man, I love you, Ranye. You keep asking me all these recruiting things. I don't know, man. I didn't even realize they moved his territory out of. But there's no way they changed his recruiting territory, really.
Out of Polk County.
I mean, that's his ancestral homeland. Remember where he go to high school?
Maybe they feel like they get everybody they want out of there anyway.
Or it could be maybe the fact that Polk County now, unfortunately, has become Gator territory again.
Or they get nobody out of there. So let's quit wasting him.
Why put our ace there
in an area where we can't get anyone anyway?
I don't know if it'll have.
Is that where the Williams brothers are from?
Who's
from Polk County? Carlos
Pouncey.
and Vince.
Yeah, they're from Polk as well.
They were? Okay. Yeah. The Pounceys were from there too?
Yeah, they went to Lakeland High School.
That's in Polk County.
Yep.
So that's Rainey and all those guys.
Yep.
But the Vince Williams and Carlos Williams are from another high school in the area.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Polk Ribs. That was the name of their stepfather.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
is he still a member? He needs to be. I haven't seen him in a while.
Apparently, I think they're just people are just sniping too much at his kids.
Oh well, all right, I can understand that.
I mean, when people start, Brady went 0 for 4, had a golden sombrero.
You shut your mouth, banned.
Yeah,
banned. I'd ban all of them. Talking about my son. That I don't know how Jim Henry did it, man. Jim Henry, for the people that don't know, he was my boss. He was the sports editor at the Democrat. His son is Brian Henry, who I think was the ACC Pitcher of the Year, his senior year, but was a really good starting pitcher. And I can't even imagine, reading people commenting on my son's performance. I can't even imagine it. So I can't even imagine, the parents of the people we talk about on this show, if they listen to it. I'm sure there's sometimes they want to strangle us. I'm not going to be. Not that I'm ever going to have to worry about it with Brady and being a college athlete.
He's just it's reverse psychology, Brady. He's just saying that so that you actually fulfill your destiny.
I've told you he's going straight to the draft, whatever it is. He's not going to bother with. It's going to be a lot of $30,000 handshakes to get Brady to college. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. But I don't understand how any of these parents do it. It's got to be, especially hearing people like you and me talk about their performances on the field.
Here's my caveat. I don't want to pay the players, but if we pay the players and we can start ripping on them, then let's start paying the players.
I feel like the players that need to be paid are probably already getting paid in some form or fashion.
So like he was a bum.
Yeah.
Trash.
So I'm probably a little too hard on a Corey Mangum. I don't know what Corey Mangum got paid. Probably not. And also they do get the stipends now. Yeah. People forget that. So I don't know. I think that legit is $10,000 or $15,000 a year they get as a stipend.
Well, then people say that most of that they end up giving to their families back home that are struggling. So it's not that the players aren't reaping those benefits.
The players also get to live for free and eat for free.
But there's an old white guy that's making $5 million.
I get it. I just said it 40 minutes ago. It's perverse, and it is. It is. Anyway, it's just crazy. I wish we were
on TV. That your facial reaction there.
Tamori and Terry, growing up in wherever.
Ashburn.
Is it Ashburn? I know it's Turner County.
Yeah.
It's people that don't know. It's single A in Georgia. There might have been 11 kids in his high school. I don't know. Gosh, it's a crazy small town.
Like Brady covered him.
Exactly right. Got you tonight, man. You're on lockdown. I have a funny story about that. I don't know if I don't think I've told this on there. When I was in Valdosta, I worked with this kid, this sports writer named Keith Pompey. And he's from Philadelphia, and he was a cornerback on his high school team. He was telling the story about this would have been probably 1988. He's a trash talking cornerback.
88 or 98?
88.
88. Okay.
This is when he was in high school still. And he goes out wide. They're playing this team that he's never heard of. It's a private Catholic school. He goes out wide. There's this little black kid. I only say that because he said the rest of the team wasn't. Right. But he was out there covering him. Mm-hmm. And he goes up to him. The very first play is a running play. And Keith goes up to him and jams him at the line and knocks him back and says, "My name's Keith Pompey. I'm going to be here all day, MFer." Yeah. That's what he says to him.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do,
play,
Brady.
Don't know anything about him. The next play is a go. Dude races by him like he's in quicksand. Catches it 10 yards past him, runs into the end zone, puts the ball down, goes up to him and goes, "My name's Rocket Ismail, and I'm going to Notre Dame."
No!
It's crazy, right? And then Keith goes back to his coach. He's like, "Coach, why didn't you tell me I was covering a guy that was going to Notre Dame?" He goes, "Because I didn't want to scare you, man." Because, back then,
That's so true.
1988, you didn't keep up with, you didn't know who the best players were. You didn't have Rivals.com back then.
Right.
So, yeah, that was always funny. That was very funny. I think Keith's
sweet
still a
Raheem.
sports writer.
Sweet Raheem Ismail, man.
Man, he was something, huh?
That punt return should have been, or was it kickoff return or punt return? They
Punt
got hosed
return.
against.
It's crazy they punted to him. Yeah.
Insane. Also, what are your thoughts about Dabo signing that long-term contract? Oh, shoot. We didn't answer that in the beginning of the show.
We did.
Thanks for bringing that up in case we missed out on it. GSL 7532. Good morning, my G's. If we stay healthy this season, what's your record prediction? Come on, guys and ladies. It's May. We got to do record predictions already. Also, Boise State game. You guys tailgating or doing a meetup? I don't know. I mean, we didn't do anything for the spring game.
Do we know at game time?
We don't know the kickoff yet, no.
It's definitely the Saturday, though. It's not a Monday, right? It's Saturday.
Correct.
It's the first Saturday. Yeah. We should be doing something on Friday night.
Yeah.
The landing will be abandoned by then, right?
For sure.
So we could have like our own little tailgate set up
the
at the
Hooters?
landing. Yeah. Just go in there and we crack a window, get in there and have our.
Even if it's a night game, you think we'll be able to? Can we stay overnight over there? Can we do a fundraiser, get some
Tell you
hotels?
what, Daddy's staying overnight,
Okay.
whether you are or not.
Yeah, I don't want to drive there.
But I would say Friday night we should probably do something.
All right.
I would think in Jacksonville. Gene kind of does those things. I mean, maybe part of the Jacksonville Booster Club or something. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, no promises, but we'll try. As for the record, should we do this once a month or something? Just go the record, week by week, win, loss. Boise right now.
No, I mean, I really don't know.
I don't know anything about Boise. They're going to win Louisiana Monroe. At Virginia, still a tricky game. Sorry, Louisville. You should win that, but would I be shocked if they lost that? I mean, they barely won by the skin of their teeth last year, and they got a new coach, new belief, new hope, all that sort of stuff. But I would say they win that game.
I would be pretty surprised if they lost that game.
Yeah, okay. NC State, they should win that. I mean, they lost Finley. They lost a couple other pieces. So, I mean, right there, you're cruising along. Clemson, no. Wake. I mean, you should, but, I mean, again, that's a team that you didn't necessarily dominate.
They gave their coach a big
yeah,
extension,
Clausen represent. Cuse and Doak. I mean, listen, again,
you should win. You'd be surprised if they lost it because they lost.
Why? They got destroyed last year. What's so different?
It's home, man.
Kendall Browse.
You don't come into Doak.
Kendall Browse. No playbook. Miami, yeah. I mean, BC up in Chestnut Hill. Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess that's the stretch that we talked about when the schedule first dropped is the whole Syracuse, Miami, Boston College. You go 2-1 in that 3-game stretch, and I think if you say you go 2-1 in that stretch, I would probably say this team is going to win 9 games.
Yeah, and you very well could and probably should. We'll see how it plays out. If you're healthy and if you look any better at all, you should probably be 3-0 during that stretch. Right? I mean, you're at Boston, I guess, but
Syracuse is a good team now, man. That's a good team.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what their quarterback situation is going to be.
But did it matter?
Yeah, you're right.
He was out. He was out most of that game, right? Dungy didn't play the whole game against. It was some other.
Yeah, I mean, they ran for 300 yards on him. It
ripping
seemed like.
apart. And they're going to beat Alabama State, and then no, I don't think you're going to beat Florida. I know that makes people angry. I don't take any joy in saying that. I know it's a rivalry game. Blah, 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 blah. You know who says that? 2013 Florida says that. The team that's going to the slaughter says that sort of stuff. I wouldn't put this team on the same level as 2013
but again,
Florida.
we don't know what this team is yet. So
I just know Dan Mullen, man. I've seen Dan Mullen in those rivalry games enough.
Florida rolls around. By the time Florida rolls around, you might feel completely different.
Okay, but I'm saying today, May 2nd, as you're listening to this.
I know, that's why this makes it almost impossible to answer.
Maxwell Gibbs, last question.
Max G.
What up, gents? What's going to take for us to get a wake up from Corey? Very similar to his famous hour number 2. Hour number 2 on headlines.
I would think it would take maybe a trip to Omaha. Number one.
Oh, yes. Let's go,
we
man.
could do it by sport.
I'm saying this now. Gene, if you're listening to this.
I don't know if he's going to send 2 of us.
I want to follow this every step of the way, brother. If we got to go, I think the latest projection has Florida State as a 3 seed playing in either Morgantown.
Morgantown?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. It ain't supposed to end like this, 11. Get it together. Come on, man. There's still time. Go in 2 or 3 in Louisville.
Oh, gosh. Either there or Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge would be awesome.
Like, I want to be Sting. I want to be the police every step you take. I just want to be there with 11.
Yeah, I think we would go.
But in all seriousness, I know most outlets wait until you make the actual championship series to send you out to Omaha. That happened to a lot of people in Mississippi. Like, I strong-arm my boss. I'm like, listen, we got to be there for this whole thing.
But yeah, it is like 11 days. It can be 11 or 12 days, right?
13.
Yeah.
I was at 13.
That's a lot. That's a lot of money.
And it didn't even go 3 games, the championship series. You get there the day before. You get there like on a Thursday because opening ceremony. Actually, no, you get there like on a Friday, which is the opening ceremony. Then the championship game is not until like the following Monday.
Yeah.
It's absurd. But I think it's one of the more underrated experiences in sports.
Oh, it's really cool. I like
Omaha's a really cool town.
And if they went, I might even pay for myself and Brady to go. That's how much I'd want him to experience it, just to see it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even on my own dime to go.
Yeah. How about you pay me to be like a videographer? I'll capture that whole moment for you guys. I'll just like follow you and Brady around and like make this whole big like tribute video.
What would you charge me per day?
Just room and board.
I mean, I'm talking about from the time we wake up until the time we lights out. It's going to be one of those all
access.
Yeah, 11:15 a.m. Corey wakes up.
Room and board. I want my own rental car out there, and then
Sure.
there's a place. I forgot the name of it, but there's a place like in the downtown they got 2 different locations that does this a fantastic brunch. I want brunch every single day, and a steak at the Drover.
Okay,
one night.
That's
steak
fair.
At the Drover.
But you film us the whole time.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. It's set in stone.
Yeah, so right now
So that's what it would take. Omaha for football, a BCS bowl, one of the New Year's Six bowls.
Okay.
You would get a wake up from me. And for basketball, I tell you what, if Cabangeli tweets out sometime in the next week, you know what? I'm tired of all this. I'm coming back. You will definitely get a wake up for that. By the way, I talked to Trent Forrest. That'll be up. That's on War Chant right now as we speak. Interviewed him today. What is today? Wednesday?
Right.
Interviewed him on Wednesday, and he said that
it's Thursday as your folks are listening to this.
Thursday you're listening to it. It was Wednesday as I asked Aslan that question. He said that he actually got surgery because he had to remove cartilage from his toe. So I said, was it turf toe? And he goes, well, kinda. He goes, I tore my cartilage in my toe, and so they had to replace the cartilage with new cartilage. So he's still on he was on a hard cast for 2 weeks and one of those wheelie things that he had to put his knee up on.
Yeah, like the scooter.
Yeah, so he had to do that for 2 weeks. Now he's in a soft cast. He thinks he'll be 100% by August. But what he said that I thought was interesting is that he was okay. He wouldn't have minded getting the surgery in the middle of the season. Like, that's how much it hurt. Jeez. And the coaches were like, hey, let's see how this bad boy plays out first, Trent. And he's like, but I wanted to get it done halfway through the season. Then I asked him, I was like, man, if you wanted the surgery so bad, why'd you play like that against Gonzaga? Like, what were you trying to do? He's like, well, you want to go as far as you can. He laughed, but it just, again, it shows you that kid. He had an injury that literally is going to keep him from able to run. He won't be able to run for like 4 months after the surgery, and that's what he played high level ACC basketball with. It scored 20 points in the Sweet 16 game.
Yeah, he was a killer in the fourth.
Number 2 team in the country.
The second half.
One more funny thing. Sorry. So I asked him because I said, "Do you take any pride with the fact that you guys were the last team to beat Virginia, and do you lament the fact that your whole team wasn't together? You didn't have your full complement of parts.
Hurt.
Yeah, Kofor wasn't there.
Right.
He wasn't 100% healthy." And he goes, "Yeah, you always wonder what could have been, but you got to play with the cards you're dealt." And I go, "Were you rooting for Virginia in the championship game?" And he goes, And I go, okay, so that's a no. And he goes, yeah, no, I was not rooting for Virginia. So I feel like as much as we hate watching them play Virginia, it must be even a whole lot worse to play against Virginia. So he was not rooting for Virginia. If people are wondering about ACC pride amongst players, not with Trent Forrest. He was rooting for Texas Tech.
We're going to step aside briefly. I'll drop the Jeff Sims interview. He is the recruit out of Sandalwood High School in Jacksonville, Florida. He is verbally committed to Florida State, 6'3", 205-pound quarterback. Looks good. For whatever it's worth, whatever bummer it was to not have the great Sam Howell and the great Lance Legendre.
Right.
I think this kid's better than both of them, so they'll be all right.
Oh, all right. There you go.
Did want to ask you this, though, Corey, before we take a quick break. And then you want to Thrones'in around for a little bit?
We can Thrones'in around for a little bit, sure.
So the countdown is ongoing for the recruiting classes. So number 5 was the 90 – was that a 90 or was that a 2011 class, number 5?
2000. I think I think 89 was number 5 because that had Charlie and T-Buck in it.
Yeah.
2011 was number 4.
Okay.
And then 93, or sorry, not 93. Number 3 was the 97, which is crazy. So there were 20, and people, if you haven't know what we're talking about, we ranked the top 5 classes in Florida State history, but by actually using metrics, like numbers assigned for if you're an NFL draft pick, if you're a starter, if you're an All-American, and you won an award, some sort of award. Man, that 97 class had 3 dudes that won national awards. They had Winky, who won the Heisman. They had and other things. They had Janikowski, who won 2 Grozas, and they had Jamal Reynolds, who won the Lombardi. Right.
The recently retired Janikowski.
Yeah, for 19 years, by the way, which is insane. But when you talk about a hit rate, like I think 15 of those 20 actually end up starting or contributing on the national championship team.
Gibson, Travis Minor.
It's crazy. I mean, the hit rate for guys that just contributed. Tony Bryant was like a second-round pick. Mm-hmm. You don't even think about Tony Bryant. Yeah. Like, you could ask a Florida State fan, name the 30 best players of the 90s, just on defense.
Or just name 20 defensive ends.
Yeah, they would not think of Tony Bryant, and that dude was really good and was a second-round pick. Same thing with like a Jerry Johnson or when you do this thing, you just realize again how incredible those classes were. But that one, Jeff Chaney, somebody like a Jeff Chaney.
Bradley Jennings.
Well, yeah. He kind of changed Chris Winky's career forever because he's the one that tore up Dan Kendra's knee.
You're welcome.
In the spring game, and then that set Winky. So, yeah, they had Winky and Janikowski in the same recruiting class, along with Travis Minor and Derek Gibson. And David Warren Travis Minor was the USA Today Offensive Player of the Year, and David Warren was the USA Today Defensive Player of the Year. Just an incredible class, and that's what they did back then. But that's, they did back then what Alabama's doing right now.
Oh, Bobby. All right, we're going to step aside. We'll drop 5 good minutes with Jeff Sims, and then we'll come back and we'll throw it around for a little bit. So Wake Up War Chant.
You're listening to Wake Up War Chant, all Noles, every day. Now back to Corey and Aslan.
All right, man. Special edition of Wake Up War Chant. We're on site here with the heir apparent, but heir is spelled H-E-I-R and A-I-R. Jeff Sims, how are you, man?
I'm great. I'm doing fine.
We're going to start something new. We're going to call it 5 good minutes with a really good recruit. Should have probably worked on the marketing of that a little bit better, Jeff, but I'm going to start with a 5-minute countdown, man, and then you're going to be done. You can do whatever you want after that, so let's go ahead and shoot it. You've ate a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to get to where you are now. Creamy or crunchy peanut butter?
Cream.
All right.
I can't stand crunchy.
What flavor jelly?
Grape.
Okay, I'm a strawberry guy person, but we'll let it slide.
I don't like strawberry jelly. It's nasty.
Anybody you try to craft your game after growing up you watch, you're like, man, I want to be like him?
Well, at first, I was a big Michael Vick fan. Okay. And then, as my arm started to grow, I just became myself.
All right. Are you a running quarterback? Are you a pocket quarterback? Are you a dual threat quarterback? How would you market Jeff Sims, the quarterback? Just a quarterback?
I'm just a quarterback. I can do it all. I can run, I can throw, but I'm more of a thrower.
This recruiting thing, give us something crazy just to let people at home know just how crazy it is to be a recruit that's so sought after by so many different schools. Like, is there a time you look at your phone and you don't have a text message or a tweet from a coach or a team or a fan base?
Well, nowadays that I'm committed, only text message I get is from Florida State coaches or any other college that wants to try to flip me, but it's not going to happen.
What do you say to coaches that try to flip you? You're just like, thanks, but...
Yeah, I just be like, nah, I'm committed right now. I can't do that.
When was the first time you met Coach Willie Taggart?
The first time I met him was the day I went on campus, the day I committed.
Just like that?
Just like that.
How would you describe folks, they think they have a good idea of who Willie is. Willie seems very genuine and honest in who he is, but I think you probably see a different sort of side of him. How would you describe Coach Taggart?
He's a father figure. Coach Taggart is a cool dude. He's truthful, he's real, and he does not lie to you.
Is it pressure? Is it anxiety or excitement when you know they're probably going to try to recruit another quarterback, we imagine, or assume, but you're probably the guy that they're going to put all their eggs in the basket with to lead this team? What's it like knowing that a school like Florida State wants you to be their guy?
It's exciting. I can't wait to get there.
Just like that, man.
Just like that.
No, even a little bit of nerves. Like, dang, man, I got.
Nah, I'm just ready to get
40,000 students are going to know my name and want to know what I'm doing all sorts of time. All right. What was the sales pitch from Coach Taggart to you?
I mean, there was really no sales pitch. He just told me how much they wanted me, and that's what I was looking for. Like, I've always wanted to go to Florida State, so that's what we was looking for somebody to want me like that. And he was just telling me how much they wanted me, and it just happened.
So you have that in your back pocket, man. I mean, you're going to be the guy at Florida State. How do you stay motivated now going into your senior season?
I just forget about it, and I focus on my team, and I just keep working.
What are you doing when you're not on campus? I mean, when you're at home, are you still throwing the ball? Like, are you doing stuff on the weekends, like playing 7-on-7? I mean, what is the kind of stuff that you work on when you're not with your teammates here at Sandalwood High?
Well, I go out to 6 points and I train there. I work on footwork and throwing motions and stuff like that. And then at home, I'm just eating.
Peanut butter and jelly?
Yeah, getting
Do you
bigger.
take the crust off the peanut butter jelly sandwich, or do you eat the whole thing?
I just eat the whole thing.
White bread, or do you use like wheat or like fancy like
honey
whole grain?
wheat?
Honey wheat.
Honey wheat.
All right. Do you put it like in the refrigerator, like for you? Just slap it down, boom.
Yep.
What's the ratio of peanut butter to jelly? Would you say?
More peanut butter than jelly.
Okay, right on. Kendall Browse, we hear he's quiet, low key is one way a coach describes him. How would you describe Coach Browse?
Well, with me, he's very energetic, and he's a cool dude. Like, me and him talk almost every day.
What is it about that offense that, everywhere he's been, his offenses have scored in just droves? I mean, they score 30, 40 like it's no one's business. I mean, what do you think it is about maybe his style or his scheme that allows them to be so successful, and will it be that way at Florida State, do you think?
I mean, it's a fast spread offense, and it's kind of hard for defenses to adjust to that. So I think that's what helps him out.
Who's the funniest person on staff at Florida State? Who can make you laugh the easiest?
Coach Kelly.
Yeah.
Coach Kelly is a funny dude.
Who's the strongest dude that's committed to Florida State right now? Just in terms of like raw strength, not like in terms of their commitment, but just like who do you think is like the biggest dude, strongest dude that you know is coming to Florida State? Okay, just like that. If you weren't playing quarterback, what position would you play?
I feel like I'm a pretty good receiver.
Okay.
Yeah, I can catch.
I'm sure you probably have a girlfriend. If not, you probably have a lot of opportunities for dates to prom. If you could take a celebrity to prom, who would it be?
Sydney Malafin.
Who's that?
She's a track star.
Okay, I'll look her up.
Yeah.
All right, folks, you look him up. Jeff Sims, quarterback from Sandalwood High School, committed to the Knolls. Thanks for your time, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
You're listening to Wake Up War Chant Low Carb Beer for the Seminole Soul. Back to Aslan and Corey.
All right, we're back. Thanks again to Mr. Jeff Sims. Again, Sandalwood High School. He's a composite, is what the kids use these days. I guess it factors in everybody, but, I mean, I'm a company man, so he's a 3-star. Still love you, though, Jeff.
He'll be a 4-star soon enough.
Yeah, he should. He should.
We're going to flex our muscles.
Actually, I don't know.
Get him to a 4-star.
Mike Farrell doesn't like Florida State, so he's going to,
We'll make him. We'll make him. We got like the biggest subscriber base on the site, man. You need to make us. Every Florida State needs to get bumped a little bit. Every Florida State recruit.
Come on, guys. Come on. All right, so I don't even know. Like, what are we waiting for now? Like, what's next in the Game of Thrones world? Obviously, we know what's next, right? They're going to King's Landing, and they're gonna figure this whole thing out. But did you watch it Sunday when you made it back to Tallahassee?
I did. Yeah, I had to watch it at midnight, the West Coast time. But yeah, I watched it on a little later, so I couldn't be on Twitter to see everything. But yeah, I watched it.
Did it live up to what you were expecting?
Yeah, well, obviously we can gripe about the aesthetic of it, and it was too dark. I did have a hard time seeing things, but that wasn't even my biggest problem with the episode. And I was lukewarm about the episode. It didn't take any enjoyment away from the show, though, because I think what was so neat about that episode, even if it wasn't maybe executed perfectly, was for 8 years or however long it's been in our lives, we've had to memorize or try to memorize 1,000 storylines in 150 different characters, all that can do these weird things. That's like, what piece of the puzzle is this? And then on one show, really two shows, because it goes back to the second one of this season too, when they're all there at Winterfell, you see it all comes together, like it all fits. And that's what I think is really neat. You had all these people that hadn't seen each other forever or hadn't seen each other at all. And they put them all in one spot fighting for the same thing. I thought that was again, it highlights how awesome the show is. Even if I wasn't a huge fan of the particular episode, you still are invested. You still feel like you have stakes. And it was just, the ending I thought was really cool. But But yeah, overall, not a great episode. But to me, in a weird way,
what are the gripes?
It only enhances the show more. Number one, I guess this is just what you're always going to do in battle scenes. But it's such a trope. I think that's the word. Uh-huh. One of your favorite characters is, oh no, he's about to die. The zombie's coming right at him, and he's got his knife up, and he's about to stab him. Oh, that's it for old Sam. Oh, then somebody chops his head off from behind.
Yeah,
that must have happened 8 times, including the very last scene, by the way. But that must have happened 8 or 9 times in that episode. And it's like after a while, you're like, okay, the whole strategy of the battle didn't make any sense. Why did they just charge ahead? And then
Dothraki or whatever.
Yeah, well, and they had their swords lit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, oh no, this isn't fun. Let's all go back. Let's retreat. Like,
so what were they expecting it to not be?
Why weren't the dragons just out there torching everybody? Yeah. What were they doing, hanging out to the side?
They really weren't utilized at all very much in the battle.
No, and what was really bothersome to me is that it was a lot tedious. Like, it was just, okay, there's just more and more zombies. You could never get a scale or a scope of how the battle was going. Who's winning? Are they about to be overrun by zombies, or are they holding their own with the zombies? Because it looked like 10 minutes before Arya does her thing, it looks like what's her name? Brienne.
Yeah, Brienne of Tarth.
She's got like 5 zombies on her. Yeah. Sam's going laying on the ground with zombies all over him. Jaime Lannister's being overrun. But somehow they survived 10 minutes of that. Like, how did that happen? So it just got to be a little tedious, and there wasn't enough, to me, context of how the actual battle was going or what exactly their strategy was.
Yeah, I don't know what the strategy was, but I think part of it was everything got changed when they saw what happened with the Dothraki. Like, because that was her army. She saw all of her people just die. So that sprung her into action, I think, and made them perhaps engage a little too soon. Although, I mean, I don't know what you're really going to do when your front line just totally gets decimated like that. I mean, you have to start doing something.
Wouldn't you lead
because
with the dragons? But why wouldn't you lead with the dragons?
I guess maybe you don't want to leave yourself susceptible to getting one of them killed again. Like, baited into bringing them, too soon into the battle.
But then you have aerial battles with them? With the other dragon? Like, I just felt like they could have been saving Winterfell instead of doing their...
You're right. But, that was... I think because it gave you hope, right? Because you really didn't know what the enemy was. I mean, you knew the enemy was the army of the dead, but you didn't realize just the scope, to use your word. So, like, when you see the Dothraki, like, in that great shot of them just, like, all lit up, just going across the screen.
That was a really
amazing.
Cool shot.
And then you just see them just getting extinguished. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So that kind of gives you an idea of what they were up against. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was thinking, I thought it was going to be something so over-the-top epic, and it wasn't. It was a really great episode, though, I think.
There's a lot in it.
Yeah, but I don't really know what they could have done to
and you didn't lose that many people.
That was bizarre. That doesn't bother me. I saw somebody from The Ringer do this whole big thing about Game of Thrones no longer has, like, lost its spine or something. Basically saying they haven't killed enough people lately.
You don't want a fan favorite, a pivotal character, one of the ones that we've been invested with for 7 years, just getting their face eaten off by some random zombie. Yeah. Like, that's not how this show works. They get killed. They get double-crossed. That's how the show works normally. Like, Cersei's going to have some of them killed, or the Hound might be killed by his brother. That stuff is more Games of Thronesian to me than the Night King and his army doing what they're doing. And that's what I think, because, we say the show started with the White Walkers, right? Like, that's the very first scene of the show. But it's not really about them. All the back and forth and all the posturing and all the political stuff, that's what really makes Game of Thrones Game of Thrones.
Right.
So that's what the next 3 episodes are going to be, is now that's out of the way.
Right.
That's always been hovering over all of us for 7 or 8 years.
Remember, I thought, they're going to get rid of that. They can't run that concurrently.
They had to take care of that first. Right. Now we're back to the stuff that really matters. And even more evil than the Night King is Cersei. That's who we all want to see die even more than him. Yeah. So I think that's why I like the way they did what they did. And getting this out of the way now. And it was an epic battle. And now you turn your attention to the person that's caused more suffering, really, than anybody else in the show.
Where does my guy, the Hound, stand right now? Because he cowered for most of the battle.
I think he cowered, though, in the sense, like, man, what's the point of this?
Because that's what I would do.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I'd quit. I'm a quitter,
But we're
man.
all dead. This is nuts. This doesn't make any sense. I think he'll get his spirits back. I think it's going to be a showdown with his brother, right?
Yeah, it's got to be.
So we'll see how that happens. And but I will say this: I know I kind of threw some barbs at this episode. Arya is one of the best characters that's ever been on a TV show, and it's not even. I was telling because I was on Seminole Headlines. People, obviously you want to listen to that too if you like this show. But Jeff and I don't watch it at all. So I was and they said, man, but they did watch that episode. Like Kim had it on, so I had it in the background, and Jeff watched it for some reason. And they're like, it wasn't very good. And the ending is like, and I'm like, well, here's what you have to realize. Like, Arya, she started out the show as like a tomboy that like she just wanted to be a soldier. And they're they rub her head and like, oh, isn't that cute? A little tomboy, a little girl that wants to play with the boys and all that stuff. And all her whole journey and everything she's been through was for that moment, and that was really cool for the character, for the actress, for the story. It was really cool because she's the most beloved character on the show. I don't even know who the close second would be. No. Maybe Tyrion.
Yeah, probably.
But she's the most beloved, and so for her to be the one that does that and to be kind of a badass doing it. But again, I even had a qualm with that. Like, so she comes out and is killing zombies like she's got a machine gun. Just going through all of them. And then all of a sudden she's in the library and she's sneaking around like, oh God, I hope they don't notice me. This is really scary. I'm like, didn't you just kill like 100 of them 5 minutes ago? Why don't you just go?
Think about that.
Why don't you just go and attack them all? You can do it.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's close
But she
quarters.
seemed so petrified. She was acting almost like Sansa would in that instance. You know what I mean? Like she was so scared that she was going to make a noise. And it's like, man, you just went through 100 of them. You just sliced up 100.
Wasn't she hurt though? Didn't she hit her head on the wall and that was?
I don't know.
She killed all these, Night of the, Army of the Dead folks, and then I think she actually got hurt when she was running, and then she bailed out into the library. So I think she wasn't at 100% at that time. So she was just kind of, trying to.
But she's awesome in it, and that's just an awesome character.
Yeah. And
I would imagine, I don't know, but certainly they're leading us to believe that she's going to be the one that kills Cersei too. And I wondered. Can't she change her face?
Yeah, she hasn't done that yet.
So I'm thinking she's going to – they didn't want to play that card for this battle. They're going to play that card – they didn't play that card for the Night King kill.
Yeah.
They're going to play that card for the Cersei kill.
Although, I mean, she's used it many times, so I don't –
Why didn't she use it then? I'm saying I think the producers are like, we don't want to run that twice in a row. We want to have that be the big reveal.
No, because there's no honor in that,
she's going to be like the pirate.
No, I don't think there's any honor. No, then there has to be honor in like her.
Didn't she do it? What's his name? Walter Frey.
Yeah, but she was by herself, and that was a castle full of people. And I just got a whole army of people.
Well, it just
behind
didn't make
her.
sense that she didn't use that to get close to the Night King. Like she just she run through 100 White Walkers and a dragon to go
jump like she was beaming.
Yeah, Bob Beamon.
Bob Beamon just sprawling through the air. I don't want to go. It's this show is very about making us, I think, change the way we look at the way character identities have always been developed in stories like this. And like there's no who is the brave redemptive man in this show now? Like I think Jon Snow, I mean, people are like, what are you talking about? Jon Snow is a chump. Man, Jon Snow,
he didn't do well in the fight.
He got chumped at Craster's Keep. He got chumped at the Battle of Bastards. He didn't really do all that well.
He kept the dragon occupied, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
he's having a screaming match with the dragon at the end while Arya's taking care of business.
Jaime Lannister's got one hand, doing the best he can. Tormund, I think, is actually kind of a beast, but he obviously has no political clout. Tyrion, his stature doesn't, lead you to doesn't hold up the ideals of protagonist male archetype. So I mean that's the whole thing. It's gonna probably be him and Arya fighting for the throne. It's I don't know, man. Where's the I don't know, man. Where are the good men?
It was Theon, right? Theon was
man.
the one. And also, so Bran just says, "All right, guys, have fun. I'm going to go be a bird for an hour." What was he doing?
Yeah, Theon was like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I'll be back." He was like, "I got to go somewhere." He's like, "Where are you going?"
And then I thought, okay, he's sitting there in his wheelchair.
Yeah, what was he
but
walking into?
He's magic, so something's going to happen. The tree's going to topple over on the guy. Yeah. But no, he was just going to sit there and let him apparently chop his head off without doing anything. It's like, well, then what have you been doing this whole time? Yeah. Your only purpose was to draw it to be like a bait.
Right.
Well, all that stuff we did with Hodor in the 6 years of watching Bran be dragged around in the forest. like some fruit, and it was all just to be bait. Like he didn't really. What did he do that like helped win the war? Win that battle besides just sit there and wait for Arya?
Were there any plot holes that stood out to you?
No, I don't think so. I will say, man, I don't watch it enough. I know I'm nerding out right now, but I didn't know anything. I didn't know what was happening when Arya and the Fire Woman looked at each other and they'd had a moment before. Yeah. Did you remember that moment at all?
When, again, these are all spoilers, you guys know. I mean,
yeah, but you're not listening. Hopefully, you're not listening to this if you haven't seen the show.
When Stannis lost the Battle of the Blackwater and regrouped, she discovered that obviously they had.
So this was like 4 years ago, 3 years ago,
at least. They found out that Cersei had run out and killed all of Robert's bastards, but one of them got away, who was Gendry.
Right.
Gendry. So when she went to the Brothers Without Banners to get Gendry from them is when she met Arya, and then that's when she told Arya but
it was like a quick meeting, right? Yeah. It was like in passing.
She did say something though about, and that goes to your point about her maybe being the one that's going to also slay Cersei. Well,
because she said you have darkness in you.
Yeah, she's like, you're going to kill women. So you're going to kill people with brown eyes and blue eyes and green eyes. And the blue eyes, obviously, is the Night King.
And the brown eyes is Walter Frey. And the green eyes, Cersei has green eyes.
But I think also Daenerys also has green eyes.
Well, there you go. Well, yeah, so, but I mean, that to me is why the show is pretty badass.
Oh, just
That's
many layers.
4 years ago. And, like, I wish, just for the novices like me that don't watch it and never read the books, I did not remember that at all. I knew when she said, "I know you," I was like, oh, man, I'm supposed to know that they met, and I don't remember that at all. I wish, like they used to do with Family Ties back in the day, just have a flashback real quick. Right. Just like
the black and white scene.
And then it goes to because I did not remember that at all. And when they met again, when she said, "What do we say to death today?"
Right.
And she says, or what do we say to death? Not today. Before that, they said something to each other, but I couldn't hear what they were saying. Like they were whispering to each other, and my sound wasn't great or something. Right. So I didn't realize till I got on Twitter what they had said then about because she reminded her blue eyes, green eyes, and brown eyes.
What was kind of weird to me was how she even showed up, the red woman.
Yeah,
just
out of the blue. Where you been?
10 million dead people are over there, and she just saunters through the battle lines like, "What up, everybody? I'm here." Like, how did she get through there so easily?
Well, she's magic, but also like maybe she could have given them a heads up like a week ago. Like, hey, you're planning this big battle. Just know I'm here too, and I can light stuff for you if you need me to. But no, she didn't do that till it gets too hairy.
Well, I think because Varys told her like at the Dragonstone like last season was like, if I were you, I would leave, like leave Westeros. Like no one likes you. Don't just leave and never come back. And she was like, well, I have to be back or whatever. But that was the only thing that to me was like, what? How did that? Huh? How did that make sense?
There are a lot of those things. I thought like the zombies seemingly being everywhere, but then nobody really dying. Like you would have thought Jaime and Sam and Brienne all would have been overcome and just eaten
at some point,
and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
But that's the stuff that's just how when you watch those kind of things, it's always hard to get the context and the scope of okay. Are there a million of these zombie things? Is it another 20 minutes and they're about to be all dead? Are they doing well?
Well, no, I think
I saw they
never were doing well at any point. That's the whole reason why they had to kill the night.
They showed them killing like hundreds of zombies.
But then they
showed
it was like
them pointless. Then they just kept coming.
Yeah,
so it's like, why do I even care about you killing those 4 in a row? That's a cool move, man. That you could stab somebody behind you. But at the end of the day, there's still
survival,
40
man.
coming back. There's still 40
about
after.
Survival. It wasn't about winning, man. It was just about survival.
That's right. That's what the Hound was doing.
Surviving until, the female, 15-year-old girl comes and kills the strongest man that's ever lived in the entire kingdom of Westeros.
Cool little drop, too, with the knife.
Which is there was foreshadowing. There was a previous scene where she was actually dueling with Brienne of Tarth, obviously. Why would a man teach her how to use a sword?
Well, the man did in the first season, right?
Yeah, Syrio, but then we forget about him. He dies. Brienne of Tarth and her were actually like dueling each other in the yard at Winterfell, and then she actually dropped her knife into her other hand and was like, "Aha, got you."
Oh, really?
That's the same maneuver.
See, that's what I'm saying about that show, man. I like that it's obvious because Breaking Bad, as much as I love Breaking Bad, and they always found a way to land it. Vince Gilligan would say, he's like, we would intentionally write ourselves into corners every season, and at the end of the season how in the world are we going to explain this and get to a next one? And they didn't know where the show was ending. My point being, they didn't know where the show was ending, just like the guys that Lost didn't, quite obviously. But this one, man, they've known. That tells you they've known since 2014 or 15 that Arya was going to be the one that killed the Night King.
Yeah.
They might have known the whole show. Like George R. R. Martin might have told them that. I assume they have. Like they've all talked about it. That to me is really cool. That even way back then they're planting seeds and there's a plan. That to me is what makes the show so cool.
All right, so they're going to King's Landing. I think Cersei does get overthrown, and I think they have 2 episodes left to them. They're going to fight amongst themselves. So there's obviously still, I think, discord between Daenerys and the Stark family.
I think that will be the last season, the last show. You think
Cersei lives?
I think Cersei's going to definitely.
Survive.
This is the 4th show, right? Coming up.
There's 6
and she's going to take some people with her. She's going to do some bad because that was a good. If I know Game of Thrones, hey, we all cheered. Something good happened for us.
We all survived.
You know, some pain is coming on the show. They're not going to be like everybody. Hey, keep those good feelings up, Game of Thrones fans. We're going to make you happy again. No, there's going to be multiple characters that we don't want to die, and that'll be probably how this show ends. And then so Cersei will still be functioning, and then hopefully the penultimate episode is when she gets hers.
You know, one concern I have is
we're nerding it up big time.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up here.
But I feel you guys knew what you were signing on to.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't feel bad about it. We did like an hour of football, and then now we're about 20 minutes into this, so this is gonna almost be its own show. The one scene that like keeps permeating in my head, not even a scene, but like a loose end that never really got totally tied up, was when they actually got the white and took it to King's Landing last season to demonstrate for Cersei and them, like, listen, this is what is out there. Like, we all need to focus on killing this army of the dead. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, all right, I'll do it under the caveats, yada, yada, yada. And they're like, well, we can't do that. She storms off. And then Tyrion's like, I'll go talk to her. And then we only see him talk to her for a little bit, and she wants to kill him and wants something to do with him. And then the next thing we see is him walking out like, I got us covered. And then she's like, I'm going to send my armies north, and we're going to fight alongside you guys. So, like, what? I almost feel like I think Tyrion, and you want to talk about being a very Thronesian sort of thing.
That he turns out to be the mastermind, but he's evil?
Yeah. I think he's
You could certainly see that coming. Yeah,
that would be.
That. I mean, I haven't seen that come, but I'm saying that would definitely be Game of Thrones. I could see that happening.
That, and the only other sort of weird twist I can see happening here, somewhat twist. So Bronn, his guy, Bronn of the Blackwater.
Which one is he?
Bronn's the guy with he's the one that saved him at. Remember when?
Oh
yeah.
They
want to throw him down the moon door.
He says the C word a lot.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, he's cursing all the time. He was sent with a crossbow. Cersei gave him a crossbow to go kill her brothers or kill her. Yeah, kill her brothers. I don't know if he will, but I can't see him aligning him. This is what I think that I think he's going to maybe kill Daenerys. That's my only like crazy plot twist I can see him like killing Daenerys as sort of like his way to compromise when it gets back to King's Landing. Like, listen, your brothers are still alive, but I killed what you really wanted dead first was the girl with the silver hair.
Right.
So I think like maybe that'll maybe help. I don't know where that's going to pivot off of, but that's the one thing I'm like, well, Bronn still hasn't showed up, and like I can't see Bronn killing Tyrion. Those guys, they're legitimate friends. And remember, you always told him like, whatever they're paying you, I'll double it. And like they legitimately own the North right now, so they probably have all sorts of castles and stuff that they could literally give him at this point in juncture. But we'll see how that all goes on Sunday.
What happened to the little kid that was like the 8-year-old that was still breastfeeding? breastfeeding.
Yeah. He's still alive.
Is he?
Yeah, that's their cousin. That's like Sansa and Arya.
Freakazoid that belonged to Deliverance.
Yeah, he's the Lord of Aaron, or not Lord of Aaron, Lord of the River.
So he's still alive?
Yeah.
All right. I'm sure he has a banjo.
He's alive. You know who's also still alive too that we haven't seen in a long time is Lady Stark's brother that married one of the Freys as like the set off the Red Wedding.
Oh yeah.
That guy, Edmure. Edmure's still. I mean, I don't know where he tied. He probably doesn't tie into any of this sort of stuff, but he's still out there. We haven't seen anything from him. But I don't know what the likelihood is. But actually, they're going to march south, so they'll probably start bumping into some of these people that we've forgotten about. Like, oh wow, they're still alive. They're probably going to start bumping into people. We'll see this episode, I imagine, as they make their charge down the King's Road. To King's Landing.
Yeah, so you acted like what's left of there. There's a lot left to still unpack. And I'm glad they got that done with now. They had their big epic for the season. And all this other stuff I don't think will be huge battles as much as backstabbing, political and stuff, which is, I think, the strength of the show anyway.
Oh, they still have to fight the Golden Company, the sellswords they shoot.
They do. They're going to get to burn those elephants or whatever. They don't think they have all those elephants. And there's still 2 dragons left?
Yes. I think from what I've heard that John's dragon survived as well. So.
Good job, John. You crushed it in that you crushed it in that battle.
Yeah.
Anyway. So he was, out of all the Stark kids, the only Stark that did less than Jon Snow in that battle was probably Robb.
Too soon.
I mean, Jon didn't do anything, right? I mean, I guess he torched some people on the dragon.
Yeah. I thought Sansa was going to kill herself. I thought her and Tyrion were about to kill themselves. There's that scene when
that's why I wonder what you say about Tyrion. Like, he must I don't know if it seemed like it was getting close. I think it was, if they get on us, then I would rather do it myself than have them do it. Maybe something like that.
I thought it was kind of like, we're not going to make it. Let's just end it now.
Yeah.
That was
like a Romeo and Juliet. Yeah,
they're still married. I
feel like
by the law of Westeros, I think they're probably still married.
There's something going on there a little bit, maybe. Just saying.
I like
Sansa.
that
out there.
She's
you still don't even know. Like, it could be Sansa and Tyrion that are the king and queen. Yeah. It could be Jon Snow and Khaleesi.
That's the one thing I'm almost like there's
Arya and Gendry.
Yeah.
Because he's a rightful heir, right?
Yeah.
So there's plenty of possibilities of who could actually be on top.
I really wish I'd like to see Vegas put odds out. Like, I don't think Jon Snow or Daenerys, they're not going to be conquered, or like they won't sit on the throne. I don't even care who sits on the throne. I just want to know what's going to happen to the North. That's all I care about.
That's all you care about. That's what you've always been about.
And everybody at home for listening. Thanks. This is
love you guys.
We might have topped the longest show ever without even realizing it.
Well, because we get into a flow like this. It's just 2 bros talking about Game of Thrones like they do.
These are good shows we put together in recent times, man. We'll catch up with y'all later. Have a great one.
WarChant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. And now you can get in on the action for free for an entire month. WarChant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription. Get full access to the #1 website covering the Seminoles just by entering the promo code WarChant30. That's WarChant30. Sign up and get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WarChant30. WarChant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.